Get those nerds! Nerd!
Welcome to the Dorkside Podcast, recorded live at Darkside Records in Poughkeepsie. I hope you like random babbling from two idiots who only programmed me to say this sentence and to feel pain. Why would they do this? Are you their god? It's me, Margaret. All I wanted was to feel love. Let's start the show.
I'll take that last one.
Take, man.
Away. God, I'm so sorry. I'm an alcoholic.
Don't be sorry.
I got it from my dad.
Hey, me too.
That's the deepest this podcast has ever gotten.
Never met him. My dad's a planet.
You did.
I get that reference.
Yeah. My dad has a big swinging blue dick.
Watchmen?
Yeah, what's all? Sorry.
Okay.
It's kind of similar to Guardians, right? I didn't care about either one.
If that's the only yardstick between the two. Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Dorkside Podcast. This podcast, of course, is the Danny DeVito to our Arnold Schwarzenegger podcast, which is, of course, the Darkside Records podcast.
I love twins.
So do I.
You have twins.
There you go. Perfect.
I guess I do.
Yep. So that podcast, of course, is all about music news. This little baby brother here is our nerdy podcast. No music, none of that shit, no pretentious shit. This is all about movies.
We're talking about soundtracks.
Comics. I'll throw in soundtracks. I'll make an exception. For you, I'll make an exception.
Thank you.
I'm JB.
I'm Berto.
And we have a whole bunch of special guests this episode.
We got guests.
That's right. Of course, we have...
our usual sidekick.
From the Darkside crew, JJ's here.
I'm special.
We also have...
He just wouldn't leave.
The Brian Kendrick is here.
I talk sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And from Story, Screen, Beacon, and a number of great podcasts, according to Hudson Valley Magazine. Thank you, Hudson Valley Magazine. Mike Burdge from Story Screen is here.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Literally the longest I've ever spent with somebody in the movie industry, so I feel very famous today.
I thought you used to hang out with Liam Neeson.
True.
James
True story.
James
but
Earl
I think
Jones?
we've been here longer than that.
Really?
Yeah.
It wasn't a regular hangout session?
No, I met him like twice.
Oh, okay.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you. He
Also-
was taller than you, but
He seems like a tall guy. Yeah.
so tall.
First,
Rob Roy.
First point of order, if I could just get to something really quick here. Speaking of movies and nerdy shit, whenever I go to Regal Cinemas to see movies, I gotta say it really bothers me that in the beginning there's an ad saying, "Come and get your start in the movie industry and work here." And I feel like that's a very poor characterization of what their job is. How do you feel about that, Mike?
You'd be surprised. Working at like somewhere like Regal or AMC will give you some kind of an inkling to the exhibition end of the movie industry, but there is also the distribution end and the production end, pre-production, post-production.
Legal.
But yeah, no,
Costumes.
I would say that anybody that's just randomly working at AMC and Regal has probably a better point of view on how shit works than you do.
I just watch movies.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian.
A lot of bad ones, but I watch movies.
I dated a girl who worked at a movie theater, and she used to bring home garbage bags full of popcorn.
I remember those days. That was useful.
Yeah, it was like...
That was useful.
She was a useful girl.
And we ate it for like 2 weeks, and it was so stale and gross by the end of it.
But still had that chemical, like, buttery flavor, which is really bizarre. More than anything, it was looking to, like, how to make chemical popcorn.
Movie industry.
Brian's getting excited.
I'm kind of hungry.
I applied for a job, but I just sat in this room with a couch, and it went very differently than I thought it was going to go.
That's the modeling industry.
I've seen that porn episode.
It's called Hairy Man Gets...
And we are off the rails.
I love John Lithgow.
Welcome, Mike.
This is absolutely amazing. It's like seeing how people make shirts. It's like, oh, this is great. I listen to the podcast all the time, and I'm like, how do they do this?
I feel like this is
like
like
the magic work every time, and now I get to. It's like a peeking
throwing
It's like
behind
one of
shit
those
at the wall
comedy
and seeing
movies where
what
like the really
sticks.
rich person gets like stuck slumming it for a day and is like, I'm among real people today.
Macaulay Culkin. Saw that movie.
Boom.
Richie Rich?
Yeah, right.
Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
I've seen that movie. Right? Yeah.
No, you're thinking of Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd.
Trading Places.
Trading
That's a fucking
Places.
classic.
Yeah, it was.
Really?
Yep.
You'd enjoy that.
Okay.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, Trading Places, big JJ movie.
I just
Yeah.
watch
Love
Trading
that.
Spaces sometimes on TLC.
Different.
Okay.
A little bit different. Less Eddie Murphy.
More Dan Aykroyd.
Really quick before we get into our usual cavalcade of curiosities that is this podcast, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about Story Screen?
Dude, Story Screen, it's the best thing that you can possibly get into. I own Story
Sounds
Screen Beacon
exclusive.
Theater. Yeah, it's
Should
good.
have brought the air horn for this part.
It's fun. Wait, do you guys have an air
I
horn?
do have an air horn.
Where is it?
A hair horn?
We can do this again.
Okay.
Awesome. So, Story Screen Beacon Theater is a theater that I own over in Beacon, New York, 12508. Long live. And it's we show a culmination of like newer movies coming out, older movies, classics, independents, stuff like that. All based around the idea of like having a movie screening that is like the perfect way to watch that movie. But more importantly than that, I also help to run Story Screen Presents, which is a podcast that has a multitude of different shows within it. I host Overdrinkers, but we also have shows like Hot Takes, hosted by Jack Kolodziejski and Robert Anderson, and Catho Raycast, hosted by Bernadette Gorman-White. Bernadette Gorman-White and Robert Anderson also help me manage the theater over yonder in Beacon. And it is an absolutely amazing experience to be able to do stuff like that. Are you going to do the air horn at any point?
It's the timing to these
You're,
things.
I'm so sorry. I thought I was waiting. I was like babbling on.
You can't rush art.
Sorry. I thought I was like supposed to cue you in.
I don't know. We'll find a place.
Perfect. So over there we have an air horn that sounds like this.
Oh, God.
And typically when we use the air horn, it makes people understand that we're open. Yeah, it sounds just like that.
You're going to have to do it away from the mic, or it's just going to be horrible noise.
This is an amazing podcast you have here, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I like to think of it as the Z Morning Zoo crew of podcasts.
Yeah. It's colorful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Colorful,
It's a
colorful
colorful
crew.
collection of attitudes.
Yeah.
Sums it up.
One day we'll do a real podcast. Until then, it's all sliding down Fart Mountain. That's all it is. For fun.
That's how I live my life.
You got to get 72 episodes in. But anyway, we've been away for a couple months. As anyone who listens, of course, knows, this is our monthly biannual podcast.
Absolutely. We don't have it any other way. We are strict about scheduling.
Insanely strict about scheduling. Like, we are dedicated to the craft of getting this out at least,
In an annual fashion.
yes, maybe biannual. Minimum once a year we do this. Absolute minimum.
True. Pretty true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we want to talk about a couple things. Since we've been away, a lot of content has come out.
The game ended.
What?
The game ended.
This one?
I don't know. The big one. There was a big hullabaloo a few months ago, and the game ended. Super Bowl, obviously, is what I'm talking about.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. This is Sports Side, where we pee on each other.
I think I'm on the wrong podcast.
Water Sports Side. Okay, we can talk about that. You wanna recap some stuff?
Why not?
Okay. Then this is recapped.
So, what's happened lately in the movie
I hate
world?
this bit that's happening right now. I hate it.
$6 I've ever spent.
Well, you talked about Game of Thrones ending.
I did. I mentioned Game of Thrones.
I heard, because I don't watch and do not watch, I have maybe seen 2 episodes of Game of Thrones.
Okay, interesting.
I heard bad things about the last season, but mainly from internet nerds. So I don't know how much it holds water.
I'll say I was let down. I don't think it was as horrible as everyone, the internet nerds, declared it to be. I was disappointed. I think mainly it felt rushed. It felt like they had like a production. This was their last season, and they had, it's fucking Game of Thrones. There's 1,000,001 storylines you need to tie up, and not all of them can be a nice little thing.
Oh, and real quick, before we go any further, this podcast has a ton of spoilers. We're going to talk about spoilery shit. So if you don't want spoilers, turn it off now. Go download the Darkside Records podcast. And
I gotta go.
Okay. Go download the Darkside Records podcast and go listen to that. But we're going to talk about some spoilers. So spoiler, Game of Thrones ended.
It did end. Gandalf killed everybody.
Oh, God damn it. I knew it. That fucking guy.
I know, it's rough.
He killed the guy right in the pig. He was my favorite one.
Right in the pig. Oh.
Wait, right in the pig or riding the pig?
I heard right in the pig, so that's what I'm going with.
No.
Stabbed him right in the pig.
It's about writing a football drama. It's the documentary on Rudy. Writing the pig.
Rudy, I've seen that.
So glad there's two of them now.
I fucking love that.
So Game of Thrones ended.
But I did watch Game
I
of
did. I
Thrones.
watched it. And I had caught up through the last season. My wife had not, so we rewatched everything in the months previous and caught up just in time to catch the last few episodes.
Okay.
Oh God, these guys!
I'm sorry.
Can't take them anywhere.
The thing is, I could absolutely be in on this conversation because I watched Game of Thrones.
Don't you partake?
But sit next to JJ. That's the worst place to sit.
It is. No, it's absolutely terrible.
He's so. It's just
We're turning
everything
colors.
that he's feeling. Like you can just feel it in the
Oh
room.
my god.
God damn it. Mike, do you watch?
Mike, do you watch Game of Thrones?
Yes, I do.
He was very upset by it. He's crying. He was very upset by the last season. Very distraught.
What do you want to know about Game of Thrones?
Okay, so who won the throne? Do I want to know?
Spoilers?
Yeah, did you finish
Yeah,
it?
Yeah,
Game
no,
of Thrones?
I finished
We're
it.
cool with
I
spoilers.
did. I gave a spoiler warning for a fucking
okay.
reason.
Brandon Stark.
Brandon Boyd Stark.
Sure.
20 years and make yourself, baby.
Yeah.
Different podcast, sorry.
Well, that was like the big kind of curveball in the final episode,
Is that what pissed all the nerds off?
I'm sure a lot of things pissed all the nerds off.
Oh, yeah.
The feminists didn't like that Daenerys got stabbed in the gut by a man. And
The misogynist
The dragon
didn't
threw
like that
off
Daenerys
without-
existed at
right.
all.
Yeah, at all.
I think you're picking
The
the wrong
dragon.
side
There
of
was
that
no.
battle,
There was
my
no
friend.
closure with the dragon. I mean, I'm going to say I was really pissed. I really wanted to see that last Arya Stark scene on her little boat, her wolf boat. Right, she's sailing off to go find things. I wanted to see her just unveil one of those big fucking crossbows. She's got unfinished business with that fucking
I was
dragon.
hoping she
Yeah.
had some dragon eggs.
Oh, okay.
Would have been nice.
Yeah.
You just see her take a hammer out and just
No, she's just
never
like,
again.
I guess we'll see what we do with these. Which is kind of like the entire end of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
let's see
Well,
what
I
happens
guess,
here.
Something else will happen too.
And I heard they're doing a prequel now.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess I just keep because I'm also a fan of the books, and so part of me just kind of hopes like, okay, this is what George Martin gave to HBO, and he's just holding the good stuff back for the Winds of Winter, which is his final book, 11 years in writing, 11 plus or something.
He probably used the show as like a rough draft, and he's gonna use everybody else's criticism. Like, I guess that's what I'll do.
Yes, I'm not doing that to her.
Well, yeah, you think he's gonna end it the same way? No.
He did say he announced. I guess season 5 is where it diverges supposedly.
Sure, George.
We'll see. Fucking what a cock tease.
He's still got like 3 books to put out. Is it 3 more are supposed to come out?
Originally, it was supposed to be 1.
JJ?
Then I think it was split into two. I don't know.
You're the person I like the most here, so I'm
You
looking
can't, you
right at
can't do it on demand sometimes. You can't-
I'm really still stuck on writing the paper.
You gotta move on. You gotta move on.
Well, something else that was out
We can move on, yeah.
in between our podcast was, of course, Avengers Endgame. The pinnacle of nerd movie culture, bringing Marvel Cinematic, the Marvel Cinematic Universe first, 3 acts to a close?
I guess, yeah. The first 10 years. No, last year.
The first 10 years?
Yeah.
I can't look at you.
Indeed. I mean, I know at this point everyone's already seen
So
it.
we've
but
seen it.
Absolutely.
Initial reactions.
it's a little late for that.
What do you think? Well, I'm just saying, compare. I didn't see the reboot or whatever.
I didn't see the
they did.
reboot either. That actually
Okay.
is. I wanted to.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
It's like
Like an extra 30 seconds of footage or something.
7
Exactly.
minutes, technically.
7 minutes.
I was really hoping that the extra 7 minutes of Avengers Endgame was going to be at story screen, and that's what I was rooting for that.
You know
so
what?
I could.
Did you not take the? You didn't
Story
buy
screen
into
No,
that?
we don't do weird shit like that. Sorry.
Good for you.
No, it's like Avengers Endgame was the first run movie that we did because it was like a big spectacle, it was a big moment, made us a lot of money. And Disney is one of my favorite people in the world. No, and seriously, they are. Like, it's the people that I know in the Disney industry. They are some of like the most like cold hard cut people that I've ever. Sheldon and Janet, shout out. Sheldon's my booker.
Yep.
Janet's like my payer. But no, they're absolutely fucking awesome. But adding more to a movie that was already probably too long. I'll watch it when it's on Blu-ray
That's how I felt.
and try and like it's gonna be a fun thing. I'll probably smoke the most weed I've ever smoked in my life and watch that and try and pick out the scenes that weren't in there. Because I've probably seen Endgame more than anybody else in certain sporadic moments. Because like I go in and I check the movie. I did that for 3 weeks where I was like, I watched the first 10 minutes of Avengers Endgame more than anybody else on the planet, including the guy that edited Avengers Endgame. I watched that a lot, and it's a great opening. Mm-hmm. Who here has seen Midsummer real quick? Sorry to...
Not yet.
no, not yet.
Anybody? No?
I was on the fence about whether or not I wanted to
I did
that.
see your
Go
most
see the
recent
movie.
podcast.
It's one of the
about
best
it,
movies
so
ever
I'm gonna have to
fucking
listen
made.
to that.
It's great. It's great.
It looked interesting.
It's the 21st century Shining.
Okay. Check
It's
it out.
very fucking good, and I hope you like it. And if you don't like it, that's cool.
Okay. It seemed like I might like it. I was at
It's
this
really fucking cool.
thing where the studio was showing trailers, and it's one of the trailers they showed. And I was like, okay. That was the one of like 20 minutes that I would consider seeing. I'm in for the popcorn.
It's seriously the best popcorn you've ever fucking
makes it
had. So what we do is we take non-GMO popcorn and we use basic bitch canola oil.
Okay.
The most basic shit in the world, and we have figured out a way to be able to time it with our machine that makes the popcorn taste amazing without any salt or any butter. And then you're allowed to ask for any amount
Whatever.
that you want put on it. Yeah, man.
But right out the gate, it's nice.
It's so fucking good. It sucks how much good it is. It's insane. I hate it.
Okay, we're gonna give Mike a break from talking for a moment.
I hate it. It breaks my brain how good our popcorn is because I can't eat popcorn anywhere else now.
Can verify. Have had.
Yeah. Pat myself on the back. Real
Good sentence structure.
Also, they have nooch. You can sprinkle nooch on top,
love
which is
nooch.
like my
Yeah.
favorite thing to put
Yeah,
on
yeah.
popcorn. So.
Gooch?
Nooch. Not to be confused with
Nooch.
gooch, which tastes totally different.
It tastes
the
totally
one.
different.
In the V community,
Nutritional
we
yeast.
refer to it as nooch.
Nooch?
Yes, I'm the spokesman.
We can't
We're
seem to
not
vote
going
him
to call
out.
it that. We're not going to call it that. But we have it. So
He's got the votes. That's the thing. Is we just can't get him out of office, and we
It's
just
just power.
we keep trying. We had a steak dinner, and it was the worst.
So, JB, what was your opinion of Endgame?
My opinion of Endgame?
Your critique, if you will.
I fanboyed out for a couple points. The final sort of like battle scene involving Thanos and, let's say the Holy Trinity of Marvel characters, and I guess we're going spoilers, right? So I'm just going to say, when fucking Cap got the hammer, holy fuck, the whole theater started cheering. And
they've been teasing that for years.
Right. And I went to see that at a midnight showing at Story Screen. And the whole theater started cheering. And it was fucking so much fun. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was a little long. Obviously, I went to a midnight showing, so it feels extra long, because you're getting out of there at 3-something in the morning. But it was fun. It was a good ending to to those chapters of the story.
I agree.
Yeah.
They kind of wrapped it up nicely.
Yeah, I enjoyed the humorous aspects of it. I enjoyed the dramatic aspects of it. I enjoyed the action aspects of it. Like, sometimes it's hard to balance those things, but I think they did good. I have several questions about timelines and
a lot of timeline stuff,
a lot of plot holes. But I lean a little bit JJ on those, and that's why I just kind of. I try to go for the ride a little bit. You know what I mean? For
right.
It's sort of that thing. As I've said, maybe on this podcast and other ones, I'll go see all kinds of movies. I'll go see shitty movies. I'll go see great movies. I'll see whatever. I just love the experience of going to the movies, and so I also will for comic book movies. I don't go too hard. I don't go in.
You don't go full beast mode like I do.
Sometimes I just go just to have fun and eat some popcorn and be entertained and giggle a little bit and that's okay.
Which I think it's what Marvel's succeeded in capturing that DC hasn't, is that the movies are fun. Like nothing about Justice League was fun. It was just heavy and dark, and you're like, what the fuck?
I have critiques about the DC universe, and you can have a serious universe, you can have a dark universe. I think it's just how they've presented their films and the non-continuity of the films, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
We can get into a larger discussion.
That's another conversation.
But it's the fact that it's nothing ties in together, and none of the cast is the same, and they're all different. They all tell different stories, and they all retell.
The only thing that's the same are their mother's names.
Martha.
Stewart?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Didn't Batman and Superman have the
Same mom.
name?
Yes.
No, they had the same
That's
mom.
what makes them be friends? Oh, that's such a good idea.
Wait till you see the Snyder cut, bro.
Oh, man. Fuck Snyder.
That voice is familiar.
I was thinking about when you first introduced me to do a voice, but I didn't. Because I respected the podcast medium.
No.
He regrets that.
The medium stuff. Okay, yeah.
I want to be like, this is Mike Burdge over here. And Mike, would you like to introduce yourself? And be like, hey, what's going on, guys?
We got enough of that on here.
Yeah, I don't need that shit.
Yeah, you don't need all 5 of us doing it.
I feel
God.
way better just kind of leaning back and watching you guys talk about shit that I care about and just not commenting on it.
Look, this is why you're here. But to be fair, I mean, Will is here, and he hasn't said a word the whole podcast. So
I'm so glad we brought Will in from
eating his
overseas.
Chinese food from China Cafe.
That's
in
true.
Plattsburgh, New York.
that's right. We'll get to him.
Oh, Jesus.
Will.
Sorry. So other things that came out. How's about Stranger Things? You guys watch Stranger Things?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Stranger Things fans?
I did, actually. I watched it. I'm further than you because I finished it.
I am on the last episode. In fact, right before I came here, I finished the penultimate episode of season 3.
Jesus Christ. It's been 2 weeks, man. Should
All
have
right,
done that in 8 hours.
All right, I will plug my ears and you guys talk about it. Okay, you ready?
He's
I said it. Spoiler.
Is there a Hudson Valley awards for podcasting that we can just
I think we all got as close as we did in the
for? Is there some way we can start getting his name in the conversation?
We'll talk to people. Maybe if all 8 on the list start petitioning Hudson Valley Magazine, they'll have a podcast.
I mean, I'm gonna push for it.
Team award or something.
Could I be the Teen Choice Award?
Yes.
All right.
That's what you should be allowed near teenagers.
We could try it.
Win all of the awards, like the Tony, the Oscar. I have a name for it. There's like a few people that.
It's called JJ.
Denzelling.
Yeah.
Podcast over.
Stranger Things season 3.
Did you watch it?
I did.
I was so much happier that it was exponentially better than season 2.
It's definitely better than
Season
season 2 because season 2 was kind of like, meh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Season 2 was good, but it was like
It was fine, but like season 1 was amazing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you wanted it to be You wanted it to be the same.
Should have fucking stopped there, like it was supposed to.
Not gonna happen.
I know.
Yep.
I would rather have like the ending of season 1, like that kind of epilogue where you're like, oh, maybe there's another season kind of thing. I'm into that as long as we get another season. I will say like this season of Stranger Things, I liked overall. I think that the first episode is one of the greatest episodes of television ever made. It is tonally so tight. They go from like happy to sad to happy to sad to happy to sad to like a bunch of tonally like really cool shit while also bringing you up to date on where all these characters are and paving the way for where it's going. Rewatch that first episode real quick for 40 minutes and go, wow, these guys did a great job. I would have liked it if the whole season did that. They don't. And few seasons do. But spoilers, just for the first episode of Stranger Things is cool. JB?
Yeah,
He's up to the last episode. So
Spoilers for
just say it.
just the first episode.
He's going to edit this
The
later
way
anyway.
the way that they utilize just specifically the Billy arc
Yeah.
is like it's
yeah.
lifeguard, hot lifeguard, the mom wants to fuck him. And there's a bunch of like awesome 80s stuff going on in there. It's kind of funny. It's kind of kishy. They build it up. They bring you to a second scene where he's just like, well, how about me and you? Fuck. And you're like, well, this is kind of 80s. And then she's also doing the whole thing where she's like in the mirror, like kind of blowing her hair up. And it's like, I don't want to lose your love tonight. And she's doing that whole thing. And then she walks downstairs and she sees her husband of 20 years
With the kid.
passed
With the
out
kid. Like-
with their youngest kid. And she goes, no, this is fucking stupid. I shouldn't be doing this. And it's like you go from like this 80s comedic thing to this 80s comedic thing to this 80s comedic thing to this insanely real humane moment.
Yeah.
That
That's like the
completely
human vulnerability,
stands
like
out.
right
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
moment.
It's
yeah.
insanely vulnerable, and then it cuts to Billy, the other side of that, just like, oh, I'm fixing my hair in the rear view mirror and I'm doing all this, and then he gets swept up into something else, and that's the end of episode 1.
That's what I
It's
thought
an
was
amazing episode.
Yeah, that's what I thought was great about that, because it's like, like you said, they're both like doing their thing. One's in the rearview mirror, and she's like, essentially about to almost change her entire life by
Yes.
just fucking this 18-year-old kid,
doing
essentially.
this little thing
And then-
that means nothing,
And then
that
this
could change
whole,
everything.
Yeah, and then this whole other story happens out of
Yes.
it, and it's like that whole comedic mixed with
It's like,
a serious
by
shit.
the way-
is just like
it's like
so
it's like a
it doesn't even
subplot
matter
from
anymore.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High turns
Yeah.
into a horror movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Really cool, and I think that the first 4 episodes hold it down, and then it turns it like the last 4 episodes turn into another season of Stranger Things, where it's like now they're at the mall and they're blowing stuff up and everything's cool. I like the season a lot, but that first episode, chef's kiss, mamma mia. I love it.
It's ironic because a lot of people I talked to said like they didn't like the first episode because it wasn't like right into the monsters.
Right.
And my argument is always like, yeah, but the show is about the kids, not the
Yes.
monsters.
Yeah,
it's about
exactly.
these characters,
Yes.
and they capture the teenage awkwardness.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah,
Hopper
which I
and the
thought was
fucking
really good.
kids
The
making
The
out in
show
the bed.
Stranger
Yeah.
Things
Like, it's
is
amazing.
about a bunch of young kids get enveloped in like a weird thing that's got sci-fi horror action tropes
Yeah.
that they shouldn't be in, and that's the show.
Right.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
Goonies.
It's Goonies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's I really like season 3 of Stranger Things, and I think that the first 4 episodes are awesome. Episode 4 is an all-timer, and everybody here at the tables has seen it. We're talking about the sauna episode.
Oh,
yeah.
That fucking thing is so good.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, are they about to kill 11? Yo, are they about to kill Mike? Yo, are they about to kill Billy?
Yep.
And then they just end the episode, and I'm like, very ready for episode 5. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good TV.
The ending of episode 7,
Yes.
that whole interaction between 11 and Billy, we've been building it.
She's inside of
Yeah, we've been building it for you. Holy shit, that was great. Like, great acting. Billy was perfect. Just perfect in that. And
He's
like,
a great actor. Played the Red Ranger in the new Power Rangers. He's fucking phenomenal in that movie, man.
Okay.
Dude,
Yeah,
he's
that was
so
not that bad.
Good in that movie.
That movie was a lot better than
that
I
movie
expected it to be.
Stinks. It's got a lot of really fun shit,
It was fun.
but he's so fucking good. I love it.
yep. Oh, so good. Yeah, just the whole, like, him essentially almost backing her into a corner the entire time.
Yeah.
And all he's doing is talking. And then you see the tears, like, start to stream down his face while he's talking. Oh, my God. That was so fucking good. It was so good. It was chilling. Like, that whole scene was very chilling. And I thought that all of Stranger Things, as much as I've enjoyed all the seasons, they've never done anything that chilling before.
Right.
And it was like...
Got a little more
'cause that-
psychological.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What builds up to that is like she dives into Billy's psyche,
Yeah.
and what the mind flayer is flaying on.
Yep.
Is him being like this very insecure person.
Yep.
Which we all are. And 11's whole thing in season 3 is that she's been super powerful for 2 seasons, and now she's just like trying to be a normal person, and she's very
Yeah.
insecure in all this, even when she's being exposed to all this stuff. Like, be a girl, go shopping, have fun.
Yeah.
Don't let boys boss you around. And she's like, I'm still just like really insecure about this one thing about who I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she shares that with Billy, and Billy, the mind flayer, uses that to like use Billy
her,
as like
yeah.
this thing where it's like, you are like, he's the Freddy Krueger. He's like
Yeah.
the nightmare version of what she's afraid of.
Yep.
It's a very good season of TV.
Well, in general, I like that about the show is they take very familiar elements, whether it's something as obvious as like the Terminator thing with the Russian
Right,
spy,
yeah.
to something more subtle like the Freddy Krueger, like subconscious manipulation, and they just make it. It's not like satire. It's not. It's clearly like the love for that genre and that era, and they make it fresh and new, and it's still entertaining. Like, even
Like,
though my wife's sitting there like, I'm sick of
that's
the
the
Terminator guy. I'm like,
positive
yeah,
side
but
of nostalgia.
watching black leather boots stalk somebody like that will always be fucking terrifying.
Looks
Yeah.
and sounds and feels cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just to segue back to music stuff, the soundtrack for season 3,
I'm so excited.
it's fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, I've did it on Spotify because they don't fucking release the vinyl for 2 years.
Yeah.
But
September.
it gets back to, again, season 1, like the synth stuff, but the track for Rats,
Yes.
so fucking
It's,
eerie.
it's like
Rat's a
more,
good band.
It's like more in the same way it's more like action sci-fi horror
Yeah.
than it is like
I was driving
horror,
when it
'cause
came on, and I'm like, oh, like my skin
it's so
was like
fucking
crawling.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm really excited.
It's fucking
for-
cool,
for
man.
that to
Like
be pressed on vinyl.
nostalgia is not like nostalgia's like a bad thing when it comes to like, oh yeah, we're redoing this and we're redoing that. But I think like something like Stranger Things, which is probably easily one of the things that started the big nostalgia movement of the 80s, at least. They're really kind of holding it down on their own, removed from everything else. Like, I honestly think like 20 years from now, even if they never make a season 4, which they're going to,
Oh, yeah.
Didn't they already say 2 more seasons?
Did
it's
they?
got to be at
Did they really?
least
At
2
least.
more
I
seasons.
think that the Duffer brothers said that they 2 more and then that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
But it's like even 20 years from now, we're going to look at that stuff and we're going to go, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Because all of it is done very well. It's very well made. It might be a little on the nose and a little quiche for the moments that we're in right now and the moments that they're calling back to. But at the end of the day, it's well made. Season 2, yeah, you know. But season 3 is like a return to form for season 1, where it's like, that is some really good, original, nostalgic inspired content.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Man.
Hey,
That's
man.
it. That's what you gotta say.
Can't make everybody happy.
You know
Yep.
what? It's fine. It's entertaining. It's engaging. You want to know what happens next. But the whole time I knew it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fine.
Of course.
Now I can't get into what I want to say because I don't want to ruin it for JB. But I have an opinion about the.
Well, I guess that's the one thing, like, I did enjoy, just to cycle back a bit, about, in general, Game of Thrones. They had no fucking problem killing someone you love.
Oh, thank you. I don't give a fuck about Game of Thrones.
They don't care
but
how
ruin
much,
people's expectations.
how much like money they're paying this person.
I've always said that Game of Thrones is successful because the guys that are writing it do not know how to write TV.
Yeah.
And I've said that since season 1, because I watched the first season while it was on. I was like, these guys, this isn't really following traditional shit. And I love the first season of Game of Thrones. First 2 seasons of Game of Thrones are very well made. But then it starts all of those little things that make it so interesting, other than anything else besides the fact that it's on HBO and they can do whatever they want. It starts to kind of come out.
Yeah.
And you're like, so do these guys know how TV structure works? And by the middle of season 3, you realize, no, they don't. And that actually is a positive for them, because people like me who go like, I understand like the 6-act structure of an episode of TV, whether there's commercials or not. It always applies to a 50 to an hour and 10-minute structure. And you go, they're doing shit that's really weird. They're killing characters halfway through the episode. And you're like, oh, that's exciting. And it's fun for that. And I was like, is this going to be able to stick the landing? And guess what? It's not.
Not as much.
You built your entire series on that you're going to be doing like these really crazy off-the-wall shit. And then you made yourself only do a season with 6 episodes, whether they're an hour and a half. And you didn't want to kill off any characters in that. That's the main thing that Game of Thrones fucking fell apart on, I think. It's just like they thought that they had to do this one thing that they were always doing, and then they were just doing this one thing that they were always doing, and it didn't work out in the 6-episode structure. Sorry. I like Game of Thrones. I think it's really cool. I think the ending is okay, but I completely understand and agree with everybody that's really upset about it. I think the ending makes sense. It's not the ending that I want, and I understand why it's the ending that they don't want, but
It's the ending we got.
they're not making another, like the whole,
They're not going to reboot.
reshoot season 8 and stuff like that.
That
It's
never
not gonna
works.
happen.
No
It's
one
not
listens
gonna
to those
happen.
people.
There's spin-offs already, though, right? And
Yeah. They're doing a prequel and spin-offs.
Gotta make
They're not
that.
George
dropping
Martin
that,
can't help
yeah.
himself.
I mean, they got the His Dark Materials thing coming
Yeah,
up, which I
yeah,
think
yeah, that
they're
looks cool.
trying to bend to be their new Game of Thrones. Everybody's chomping at the bit to be like the new
the
Game
next
of
thing.
Thrones.
Yeah.
You guys done talking about Stranger Things? Okay, I'm unplugging my ears. Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, so let's talk about something else. Another thing that came out.
This is the best podcast.
Anybody?
ever.
Anybody see The Dead Don't Die?
Yes.
No,
Because we did.
I did not.
That's a high five if you're listening and not
That's
watching
the one
video.
with what's his face?
Yep. What's his face?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren.
Did you know he
Mr.
was in
Wide
Lincoln?
Body
I just saw
himself.
that.
Yeah.
He was in
Oh, really?
Lincoln. Samuel Beckwith.
You stupid. You knew his name. That's great.
Yeah, we saw it.
Yeah,
It's great.
really liked it.
Dead Don't Die. Great movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Still playing anywhere? Are you playing it still?
No, we played it for 2 weeks, and a movie like that we can only hold for
I
2
know.
weeks before like moving. It sucks, man. Everybody's coming in like, "Oh, are you still showing Dead Don't Die?" And I was like, sorry. Really like that movie though. I thought it was super funny. It's one of the funniest movies I've seen in a
It was so
long
funny.
time.
In fact, I cannot get the second line of the movie out of my head for like the last, since we saw it, like almost 2 weeks now. I don't think it's any real spoiler, but like, there's a little banter between Adam Driver and Bill Murray, and then Tom Waits appears and says, "Up your hole with a wooden pole, Cliff."
Yeah, that's literally like the second or third line
And I
of
was
the movie.
like, I'm in. I think it's the second line of dialogue in the movie.
That's awesome.
And you know what? The ending. Oh, the ending. Thank
So
you.
good.
But I like all the Jarmusch stuff. I haven't seen it all, but everything I've seen I like.
Favorite Jarmusch movie besides Dead Don't Die? I'm gonna go with Down by Law. If that
I'm
helps.
between Down by Law,
And
Coffee and Cigarettes.
dude, that's me. We're right there. And I think Down by Law is better because it's more of a tight narrative.
It is, and you're just wondering the entire time.
Yep. It's so good. It's so good.
I got the Criterion channel recently.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How was that?
It's great. I
That's
got
like
the
its
Criterion
own
thing.
streaming channel
Yeah,
now?
They just launched it.
I had
And,
Hulu back when Criterion was a part of that, and it was like the greatest moment of my life.
Yeah. Actually, Aaron got it for me for Valentine's Day as like a. If you joined early.
Who's Aaron?
My lady.
Oh, you have a lady?
Of course.
Aaron?
Baby mama.
She got it to me. Yeah, that's right. Baby mama.
How long have you and Aaron been together?
How long is a piece of string?
I really just love that saying. What is
7 years.
Oh, me too, with my girl. It's awesome. You guys thinking about getting married?
Nope.
Yeah, me neither. Cheers. You got a thing?
nothing.
You got a yeah, so- awesome. Great. No, I'm actually probably gonna get married this year.
Well, you know.
She's not gonna listen to this anyway, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
same. But yeah, she got it for me for Valentine's Day because if you bought early, then you get a one low price for life unless you cancel.
Yeah, it's like
like $10 a month.
yeah, it's like $10 a month for like the entire Criterion
own app.
collection, which is
Yeah, it's-
fucking
So
insane.
like we have it just like on our
The TV
Amazon
or the
fucking thing.
okay.
Yeah, and it's just literally everything, including bonus stuff that you can never get streaming, is on there.
I gotta do
I
it.
guess I don't need to go to the Barnes and Noble section anymore of Criterion. Shit.
I know it's kind of a bummer, but that Barnes Noble section, at least in Poughkeepsie, fucking sucks.
I was there
Guess I
today.
can
It's
stop
all
going
it's
to
half empty.
Borders.
fucking Borders?
I haven't been there in a while, but you know,
It's been a minute.
that's where I go for my Criterion stuff.
Well, that brings us to another section of this podcast, of course, movie nudes. Talking about some movie stuff. Maybe you could tell me if this is included, but one thing I wanted to bring up for this podcast was Blue Velvet is getting... Is getting
Come
a...
on.
I'm still upset that I didn't get to go whack 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 whack.
Okay, you keep saying it, I'll talk over it.
I don't know. I don't know.
So Blue Velvet is getting a Criterion re-release that is going to have 51 minutes of new footage.
This guy already owns it.
I was going to say, is it on the channel?
I don't know if it's on the channel, but I have the physical product.
Okay.
I think it might be out now, but I got it.
Have you watched it?
No, it's just in my backpack. I haven't actually taken that.
When you
Oh, do you
watch
have
it,
the
can you
thing?
let me know if that's worth?
Sure,
I'd love to do a screening of Blue Velvet,
I'll go to
and
that.
that makes sense to do that. But I want to know if an extra 51 minutes is worth it.
Probably more worth it than an extra 7 of Avengers.
For sure. Definitely.
100%.
I mean, like, I'm considering it. Yeah.
Well, it is a 4K digital restoration supervised by Lynch himself and has 51 minutes of deleted scenes and alternate takes, also assembled by Lynch that he dubbed the lost footage. He said if you can do a good David Lynch impression,
Oh, guy put me on the spot here.
here we go. That's what he called it.
I did it that one time. I feel like I have to say, Bend, Oregon. It's incredible. I'm seeing stuff I thought was gone forever.
It's so good. It's so good.
That was so
Wow. yeah.
Bend, Oregon.
I don't know how that sounds on the
Holy
headphones,
shit.
but that's spot on in
It's
person.
good.
How come I didn't know you could do that impression?
That's literally the second time I've ever done it. I did it once for him randomly, and then again right now.
That was really good.
Louie, you gotta stop jerking off in front of these girls. They're gonna get you.
What?
Remember when David Lynch was like in
When he was what?
Louis?
CK?
Yeah.
No, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
remember
In the
that.
show, Louis
Yeah,
and
remember.
David Lynch was like his like acting coach.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. No,
Yeah.
I don't remember this.
Oh, it's like
I loved Louis, too.
It was a whole part of like one whole season was Lynch was in a
Yeah.
whole bunch of episodes.
You're right.
yeah. It was like 2 or 3 episodes like leading on in.
Yeah.
It was good.
Oh, God,
Louis C.K.'s not a good person, so.
Anyway,
Anyway,
another movie nude that we can talk about real quick. Something that we talked about on our last episode last month of this podcast.
That.
Sinemia, the competitor to MoviePass, because we both were MoviePass subscribers,
Once upon a time. Yeah.
right? And we considered moving over to Sinemia, which was basically the similar thing. Has filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy and is gone.
That was
Yes.
the name of the new Tool record.
It is also that. It's also that.
Sorry.
Uh,
I'm tired.
And in filing for bankruptcy in Delaware and shutting down its U.S. operations, it is now under FTC investigation.
so Sinemia
No, Sinemia.
Sinemia.
was the thing that I told you about. I was like, MoviePass is gone. Sinemia, that's the one. And I signed up for Sinemia, and they are a scam. And I got about 3 months out of them, and then all of a
love
sudden they're
ABBA.
being very weird. But I kept paying $10 a month to get their emails to see like how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Okay.
They are fucked up, and like now, yeah, and now they're like, yeah, no, that's you're not allowed to do that.
That's right. Yeah, you were the one who told me about it, in fact, and
I
then I
did.
brought it on this podcast.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so MoviePass is gone, Sinemia is gone, and guess what? Story
Does-
Screen Beacon Theater has the cheapest tickets
Does
in
cash
town.
still work?
$10.
Just cash.
Well, now even the major chains have started their own like chain
Right,
specific
yes.
ones. Regal
Yeah, yeah,
has
yeah.
one, AMC has one, where you can sign up for monthly plans or yearly plans or whatever.
Get everybody to shut the fuck up. Just buy a goddamn movie ticket when you're there.
Yep.
That's what we're saying. And go support your indie theater.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great to pay $10 instead of $13 to go see a movie opening night?
Yes.
Is it different opening night?
All
versus
fees-
regular
Story
night?
Screen Beacon Theater, baby, $10.
All fees
the
included.
time.
That's
Any
how-
movie.
What time of day do your showings
anytime,
start, like, during the
every
week?
day. First screening's at 12. Last screening's at 9:30. 7 days a week, baby.
And you can see all screenings on Fandango.
Bam.
Cool.
You can.
So wait,
And
do you take
Birdo, by
MoviePass?
the way, do we take requests?
Movie.
No, we do not take MoviePass.
I'm sorry, you were saying something.
We do take though, like if you got like Fandango movie tickets, like .com, like kind of weird
Yeah,
gift
yeah.
cards and stuff. You can order those online and use them, but you can't use them at the box office. If that makes sense for you guys.
It doesn't.
But I did want to say, Berto, great eyes, by the way.
Thank you.
Hungry.
Never got that.
eyes.
I'm just listening to the podcast.
It's true. It's something they don't show off enough. Because
Yes.
I would just steal the poster.
I seriously think it's something that you guys should start marketing.
Something else we like to talk about here, we could go trailer parking.
Could go trailer park. It's,
If you like going to the trailer park. Trailer
You know I do.
parking.
Of love.
Say what?
So there's been a couple cool trailers that have been out in the last 6 months since we did a podcast. Let's try to whittle it down. We'll each maybe pick one here.
3 from Hell?
Well, you're supposed to pretend like I'm not showing it to you. That's the whole bit.
What's on the agenda, JB?
Well, is there a trailer that excited you that maybe you saw recently?
Next?
hey, JB, I've got one that I'd like to talk about.
What's on the agenda, JB? Oh my god. For the next 2 years, every time I see you, that's how I'm going to say hello.
What's on the
Well, what's on the agenda, JB?
So let's talk about Tarantino.
Nitrogen!
Good job.
Tarantino, lots of colorful dialogue, and
That's a guy who likes to use a bunch of really good songs in his movies.
and he has a new movie coming out, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. His supposedly final movie.
No.
I thought the
Bullshit.
last
He's
one
got
was
one
his
more.
final movie.
One more in the
Yeah,
tank?
this is his 9th movie. He says he'll only make 10, then he'll go to writing books and doing Broadway plays, which I am into.
Okay.
So he's
That's
gonna
fine.
do that whole award trifecta thing.
Yeah. He'll do that shit for like fucking 10, 15 years, and then he'll come back and he'll make another movie, and it'll be like the 11th film.
Yeah.
But we'll all be like in wheelchairs by then, and no, we'll all be in boats by then, and we live on boat cities like in Waterworld.
Oh, I was gonna say Kevin Costner.
Sorry,
I get that reference.
Yeah, I try to.
I get that reference.
Paper.
I don't get that.
It's a Waterworld reference. Kevin Costner?
You mean the one where he and Ashton Kutcher jumped out of helicopters?
Sure.
That one.
Anyway, so What's Beside Him in Hollywood's coming out. It's Tarantino's penultimate film.
Cast.
Great cast.
I mean, it's gonna be great. Like, what the?
How do you feel about it, Mike? Are you excited for that movie?
Super excited about that movie. We actually have like like Story Screen Presents is kind of just like our podcast channel, and within there we have like a bunch of like different shows. Like we have Hot Takes, which is new movies nobody's ever seen. We watch it and we talk about it immediately. Overdrinkers, which is me getting drunk with a bunch of people talking about a movie that we love. Got the Raycast, which is like TV shows and stuff like that. But we also do these like sub mini series. We've done Quarter Mile at a Time, which is like covering the Fast and Furious. So we got Hobbs and Shaw coming up this year, which we're really excited about. And we also had Batarang, which is like our Batman one. And we also have Cooking with Quentin, which is every new Quentin Tarantino movie, we develop like a recipe for food and a cocktail that we eat and drink while we talk about that movie. The original idea was we were going to try and match it up with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood coming out. And then we opened up a movie theater and all became very busy. So now we're kind of just like every now and then we'll release like a Cooking with Quentin. I think the next one we have to do is Jackie Brown. So we made it 2 in for trying to get up to the 11. Big fans of Quentin Tarantino over at the House of Story Screen, and we're gonna have a bunch of fucking fun showing this movie.
Nice.
Cool. I remember you telling me about that podcast and or about those episodes and doing that. I thought that was a great idea.
We still want to try and get you on one,
Let's do it.
or get you guys all on one.
Boom.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Like, what would be the one Quentin Tarantino movie besides Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, besides those ones, and Jackie Brown, because we're recording that one already? What would be the one that you guys want to be on?
Django?
Kill Bill.
Inglourious Bastards.
Kill Bill.
I love me some samurai shit.
Let's do a Kill Bill episode where we all just get on here.
Okay.
I'd do that.
I gotta rewatch those.
I'll bring some tacos. I'll bring some sushi.
Wiggle
You
your
guys
big
got to let me
fucking
bring
toe.
my buddy Tim Irwin and my buddy Bernadette.
I love Steve Irwin. He's welcome.
Always.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Not dead.
Okay.
Really, really boring podcast.
So it's just the removal of the barb.
Stingray tank.
Sorry, we moved on from Stranger Things.
Nice.
I'm fucking stupid.
I don't know, man. I think you're spot on.
You're the glue of this podcast,
I
man.
want to start a separate podcast with you. We could do it like a channel together,
Is that
man.
what you're saying?
How was Comanche, by
horse
the
of
way?
a different
Yeah, I
color.
saw him this morning, actually.
Okay.
Berto has a horse named Comanche.
True.
We could start like a podcast called "Man Who Cares, Men Who Don't,"
Might have to be a video
and
podcast.
every episode would be like, "Hey, JJ, this is a thing that I like," and you'd be like, "I don't know."
I don't give a fuck.
It's not that I'm a contrarian. It's just that I don't give a fuck about superheroes. Or
Exactly.
Well, we could flip. We could turn the
Well, no,
tables
we
and
would
just.
stick to. It wouldn't be like a technical thing of everything that I like. It would be like, hey, let's pick something that I like and that you don't. I'd be like, hey, Iron Man,
Never seen it.
episode 1.
Tony Stark. is that guy. What's his actor's name?
Robert Downey Jr.
We're workshopping this right now. Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
He did some drugs once, right?
Once or twice.
He did
Couple
some
three drugs.
He did a couple drugs. He did a couple
He used to
drugs. Yeah.
bang-
Everybody.
A lot of people.
Meg Ryan. Yeah.
He lived with the guy, Ducky.
You're thinking of 2.5 Men.
No,
That's a television series.
In real life, like they lived together and
And they had a small child that they were taking care of. That's 2.5 Men.
I don't do sitcoms.
this, or am I the outlier?
No, he's usually pretty. Yeah. No, you're.
I was just checking.
I am what I is. I was
I wanted to make sure. I was like, wait, is it usually like this?
anyway.
50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah, Iron Man. Don't care. Never gonna happen. But I would give it
What do you mean never gonna happen?
because it's
He won't say it.
Like you're not gonna see it.
no, and it's just.
This is like
impossible
Iron
to
Man,
know. I'm
don't
never
care,
gonna see it.
never gonna exist.
Yeah, exactly. But I would say if I was going to maybe pick a superhero, which I won't, at least he sort of invents his own shit.
So does Batman.
No,
a good idea.
He pays fucking other people to do it.
JJ
He
is
does
correct.
not.
JJ is
Nolan
correct.
versions, but like he builds it in like the regular.
He
comic
constructs
versions.
it.
JJ is
But
correct.
Did you say just what do I know?
What do I-
So It Chapter 2 is coming out.
Fuck yeah,
There's
it
a trailer
is.
for that on the interwebs. I didn't see the first one.
You didn't?
I'm
About
the
a clown.
I'm the JJ of this one.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, I
man.
don't-
Seen it chapter 2.
Haven't seen It Chapter 2.
Private
haven't-
screening. It chapter 1. Last week of August. All of Darkside gets in for free.
I'm down with that.
Fuck you, podcast people.
Oh yeah, can you cut that out, please? Because that makes sense. That's cool.
I'm very excited for chapter
Because
2.
I kind of really want to watch it, chapter 1, before we break.
The first one was
chapter 2.
it was good. I didn't mind. I wasn't a huge fan of the end. I thought I don't know. I think it suffered from what I was complaining about earlier, like not enough psychological shit and too much special reliance on special effects.
Yeah, I can see that.
This is a clown movie, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the client, like up 80% of the movie was really
The
good
clown.
and creepy and weird, and then they just kind of jumped the shark a bit at the end.
Yeah, I feel like at the end it almost rushed it a little
Yeah.
bit, like the way he was gonna die, so to speak. I'm doing finger quotes right now. You can't see this on a podcast. But yeah, I'm really excited for the second one. I think the cast is gonna be cool, and
It's a fucking wild cast,
Yeah.
dude.
one thing that I thought was really funny just during the movie when I saw it in theater, chapter 1, is after it ended and people sat through the credits because thank you Marvel for that, and everyone at the end, and then it came up and it said, it says on the big screen after it's all over, and then it says chapter 1, and a bunch of people in the theater were like, chapter 1? What does that mean? It's like, have you
Books.
never read a book? Or even if you haven't read a book, have you ever seen the miniseries that was made, 20 years ago? Yeah, there's a whole other part to this. Like, it doesn't just end in 10 minutes and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I was like really surprised how many people were very like shaken up by the
There's
fact that it said
nothing
chapter
wrong
1.
with being a dummy.
Yeah, I think there's a lot wrong with being a dummy.
Just dummy. Just a little dummy.
Just a little dummy.
I went and saw it. Did you know, like, that's only the first part?
It's like, of course it's the first.
That's the book is like. That's what the book is. A book.
Yeah, the book is like
A book.
3 inches thick. Like,
Paper.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong
and that's Waterworld reference 2.
I am also a super like dipshit optimist when it comes to like movies and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, as
Oh,
long as
yeah.
a movie does what it's supposed to do as a movie, I'm like, good movie.
Okay. Yeah.
And then if I see something where I'm like, that's okay, but I don't normally talk about the okay stuff. I usually talk about stuff that I don't like or the stuff that I really like.
Yeah. I just thought that Bill Skarsgård did a very good job with Pennywise as well.
Did a very
Everyone
good
was
job.
very worried about that
Will
with Tim
Poulter
Curry
would
and
have been very good.
yes, Peter.
Garden State was pretty good.
Yes, Garden State Pennywise was.
Zach Braff is kind of a clown, isn't he?
No more trailers?
Some of his, it's like, gets me every time. That's Zach Zaff.
CNN just made a Batman reference.
Oh, good.
I'm not fucking kidding. I have a CNN text right here. The headline of which is, "Why so serious?"
I like So you get texts from CNN regularly?
I noticed that
I just think it's funny the fact that CNN is just texting you.
Way longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because we have too many people. All right, so let's bring up our last final section of this.
Don't get fucking mad at me. You invited me.
You're not on that list. Yeah.
It's mostly just me and
Oh,
JJ.
so you're saying that it's BK or JJ?
I'm going to say it's me.
100%.
So
Can we do this every month?
You already asked that.
we keep trying. And it just never.
No, I know.
You asked that in your last
Can we
whiskey.
actually do this like every last Sunday of every month?
Sure. Well, I keep trying to make this happen every month. It happens like twice a year.
I'd love it.
Okay. We'll talk.
I'll buy the beer next time.
Then done deal.
I'll buy the beer next.
Okay, now it's you that's elongating things.
Billy Boy.
Bottom Pod was where they killed Osama bin Laden.
True.
Which they made a movie about.
A Bardavon? There's one of those in Poughkeepsie.
No one's died there yet.
Oh, my girlfriend is mad at me. I just looked at my phone for
You
the
know,
first
I know
time.
mine is too. I haven't
Yep.
So,
On that note,
I'm going to move this really fast. That brings us to our last section, the comm swap,
yes.
where we have a mountain of comics from our childhood. We try to have some that trickle down and they just
thought
kind
you
of
were gonna be
snowball
nice to me.
down.
Oh.
And we enjoy comics from our childhood. The last time we did this, I gave you Deadpool the Circle
Circle
Chase.
Chase.
How'd you like it?
I enjoyed it.
Okay, cool. So anyway, so that's that. Next
by
time.
the way, Deadpool the Circle Chase, very awesome miniseries. Very cool.
That was what I gave him.
It's the Juggernaut,
I
bitch.
heard you guys talk about it in like the past 2 episodes.
Oh, okay.
that you guys have
Yep.
done.
Yeah, we're bad at the comm swap.
Okay.
What
What do you guys want to do for the comm swap next time? Because it's happening on August 11th.
Okay, so I know what I'm going to give you.
I think I know what I'm giving you.
Okay, I know.
Okay.
I'm committed.
But it's not even, it's a one shot.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah.
give me this time.
Okay.
And also give me my Circle Chase back.
Okay, I will do that.
Perfect. Thank you.
What are you guys doing?
Okay.
The one shot I'm giving you. It's Wolverine flies to a spider.
Okay.
It's fucking good.
Okay.
It's just gratuitous violence and Wolverine just killing people the way, like, for a justifiable reason, and you wish, like, you could kill all these people too.
Okay. All right.
It's
Don't
amazing.
ruin it too much. So you have it here with you right now?
Yep.
All right. Excellent. Okay. All right. Cool. So I will read this, and next episode we'll talk about this.
Sounds good. Excellent.
Cool. So I'm going to wrap this episode up here of Dorkside. Thank you to everyone who downloaded this episode. Thank you to everyone who listened. Thank you so much to Mike for being here. Thank you to Story Screen. Is there anything you want
welcome.
to say? Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to let people know about?
Go to storyscreenbeacon.com to find like a bunch of really cool articles and reviews. You can find us on Story Screen Presents on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, anywhere where you find your favorite podcasts.
And on that note, I'll remind you as well, if you're listening to this, hey, subscribe to us. We're on all the platforms. We're on the Apples and the Googles and the Spotifys and the Stitchers. And if you're there doing that, why not leave us a nice review? I don't want to tell you how many stars, but let's say 43. And if you're feeling particularly saucy, you can write a little review about what you think about this podcast.
About how we inspire you.
Because doing that helps us expose ourselves to new listeners.
I thought you fixed that.
What? No, that's what we do. That's what Birdo is famous for.
You fixed it.
You're damn right I
You
did.
did one episode where it was like, perfect.
Yep. That
Do you-
was,
do
to
you
be fair,
remember how you worded it?
that was probably 3 years ago at this point. So
True.
okay, how did I phrase it?
You fuck. I mean, how would you, being a professional person, word?
Yeah, because that's what I am.
How would you word like, expose ourselves? Like it helps to expose us to.
It helps us expose ourselves to new listeners. No, it helps.
It helps to
Other people
expose
get
us
exposed.
to.
New listeners.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. I like mine
helps
better.
to expose us to new listeners.
It helps you.
Stop
Get exposed.
looking at me like I'm the one that's got the answer.
Teleprompter over there.
There's some typos on my teleprompter, I think.
You were
I don't
the
like this
number
episode.
one.
You can
on
help
the Hudson
expose us
Valley
to new
Magazine.
audiences.
And I'm here to kill you all.
To be fair, Darkside Records was number like 4, and I
You
maybe
were number one.
I maybe
you were
forced
the
them.
first one.
I maybe forced them to include Dorkside in it if they were going to mention it. You know, I might as well mention it. You know, I'm just saying.
What a bunch of colorful characters
So,
they are.
thank you, Hudson Valley Magazine. We do genuinely really
They are
appreciate
the
it.
absolute best.
Yes.
They're so fucking cool.
They included this pile of shit in their fucking list, and that's great.
Stupid.
So stupid.
Sorry.
So stupid. It is.
And on that note,
thanks for listening. I'm JB.
I'm Berto.
And of course, our special guest, thank you for being here.
I like the guys kick the fires.
It's gonna happen. Gonna happen out there.
And I'm JJ.
Thank you and good night.
Do we have a closing for this? Do we have a closing
I don't remember.
statement?
Good
I can't even remember.
Good evening and good night.
Yeah, do I get
Good
to
night and good
sleep
luck.
here now? Or like, is
Pretty
this like
much.
a thing?
There's a shag carpet.
I'm hungry. Go get some food.
Here. Boom.
Yep.